Back when I was in college, I lived off campus in a small apartment complex with 3 of my friends. It wasn't the nicest place. It had that faint smell of old carpet and the walls were thin enough to hear your neighbors sneeze. But it was cheap, close to campus, and the area was generally safe, or so we thought. My roommate Jordan had gone home for the weekend, so it was just me and my friend Marcus in the apartment. It was a Saturday night, and we had no plans. Marcus had a ton of studying to do, and I was just scrolling through my phone, watching random videos. Sometime around midnight, I decided to take the trash out. Simple enough. I grabbed the bag, slipped on some flip-flops, and walked out the back door toward the dumpster. Now, the dumpster was at the edge of the property, near a patch of woods that bordered the apartments. There were no streetlights back there, just the light from our kitchen window and a small sensor light by the back door. The rest was pitch black. As I tossed the trash bag in, I heard something crunch behind me, like footsteps on gravel. I turned fast, but of course, there was nothing. Just trees, shadows, and that eerie quiet that always feels too quiet. I laughed it off. Probably a raccoon or something. But as I was walking back to the door, I swear I heard someone whisper my name. Not loudly. Just soft. Like it was drifting in the wind. I stopped and looked around again, nothing. I picked up the pace and went back inside, locking the door behind me. I told Marcus what happened and he just raised an eyebrow. Dude, you're tired. Your brain's playing tricks on you. I wanted to believe that. I really did. About an hour later, I was brushing my teeth, getting ready to call it a night, when I heard a knock at the front door. It wasn't loud or urgent, just one soft knock. I stood there, toothbrush in hand, kind of confused. Who knocks at 1 a.m.? I walked to the door and looked through the peephole. No one. I even opened the door a crack and peeked outside. Still, no one. The parking lot was empty. I closed the door and locked it again. Marcus came out of his room asking if everything was okay. I told him about the knock, and now he was starting to look a little uneasy. We double-checked all the windows and doors, made sure everything was locked up, and then called it a night. I fell asleep around 2 a.m. It couldn't have been more than an hour later when I woke up to this strange tapping sound. It wasn't loud, just consistent. Tap, tap, tap. I sat up and looked around my room. It was coming from my window. Now, my bedroom was on the 2nd floor, so unless someone had a ladder or was Spider-Man, it didn't make sense. I got up, pulled the blinds, and my heart dropped. There was someone outside my window. Just standing there on the small balcony we had, the one that no one ever used. A man in a dark hoodie, face shadowed, standing completely still, just watching. I stepped back instinctively. My hand was shaking as I reached for my phone. I texted Marcus, "Someone's on the balcony." Before I could hit send, I heard a sound downstairs, like the back door creaking open. I froze. Then came footsteps. Not loud, but deliberate. One step at a time, like someone walking across the kitchen floor. I grabbed the baseball bat I kept under my bed and moved toward my door. I opened it as quietly as I could and peeked down the hallway. Marcus had just come out of his room, holding a lamp like a weapon. He looked as terrified as I felt. We both crept toward the stairs. From where we stood, we could just barely see the kitchen. The fridge light was on. The back door was open. But there was no one inside. We walked down slowly, bat and lamp in hand. Nothing. We checked every room, every closet. Nothing. The back door was definitely open, though, and neither of us had touched it since earlier that night. That's when we realized something that chilled both of us to the bone. The balcony door in my room. It was also unlocked. Whoever was standing on my balcony had already been inside. We didn't sleep the rest of the night. We called campus security, who showed up about 30 minutes later, walked around the property, took a quick report, and told us to keep our doors locked and call the police if it happened again. They didn't seem too concerned. We were. The next day, we called the property manager and demanded new locks. While they were changing them out, the maintenance guy found something wedged in the back door frame, a tiny piece of plastic, barely noticeable. It was keeping the door from latching fully. Someone had planned to come back. After that, we bought a security system, cameras, the whole deal. But I never felt completely safe in that apartment again. I started keeping a chair under the doorknob at night and even moved my bed away from the window. We never saw the guy again. No one was caught. No one even believed us except for a few friends. But I still remember that feeling, standing there, staring into the face of someone who shouldn't have been there. Someone watching. Waiting. It's been a few years since then, but every time I hear a creak at night or a soft knock on a door, it all comes rushing back. And I still don't know what would have happened if I hadn't woken up that night. Or worse, if I hadn't looked.